Part 1. See their behavior as a reflection of them. There are quiet moments in life when someone's tone, comment, or energy lingers long after the interaction ends. A heaviness in your chest you can't easily shake. Maybe it came from a sharp remark in a meeting, an offhand comment at a family gathering, or a draining interaction with someone who always takes more than they give. The experience is universal. Some people leave emotional residue. For years, I believed that residue meant something was wrong with me, that I wasn't resilient enough, that I misread the situation or should have responded better. But through age and through the writings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, I realized something liberating. Other people's emotional storms are not weather patterns you created. This is the first shift, and it changes everything. A scholar's memory, when I first saw the pattern. During graduate school, a brilliant but volatile professor snapped at me over an innocent question. His tone wasn't quite an attack, but sharp enough to unsettle me. I spent the rest of the day questioning myself. Had I said something wrong? The next morning, I overheard colleagues mentioning he was dealing with a personal crisis. Suddenly, everything clicked. His storm had been real, but it had never been mine. That moment planted a truth the Stoics voiced long ago. People behave from the worlds inside them, not from anything you caused. Their tone, reactions, irritability, these are projections of their inner weather, not judgments of your worth. What the Stoics saw, and we forget. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind." The Stoics believed behavior reflects internal impressions, fears, insecurities, memories, and unresolved pain. Modern psychology agrees. Emotional volatility often comes from internal stressors, such as insecurity, trauma, exhaustion, low self-esteem, fear of losing control, and emotional immaturity. You are not the cause, you're simply the nearest outlet. People drowning emotionally will grasp for anyone close, often without realizing the impact. The common mistake: personalizing someone else's chaos. Nobody teaches us to separate other people's emotions from our identity, so we absorb things that were never meant for us. Sarcasm as criticism, coldness as disapproval, unpredictability as our inadequacy. Humans are wired for emotional contagion. We mirror the moods around us, useful in childhood, but damaging in adulthood. The Stoics countered this with cognitive separation, distinguishing the event from the interpretation. Epictetus summarized it perfectly. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A harsh tone isn't truth. A cold response isn't evidence. A dismissive remark isn't a measure of your value. These are emotional echoes of their inner world. A story to illustrate the shift. Imagine someone walking by a river, accidentally splashing you with water. You don't take it personally. It was simply circumstance. Now imagine someone splashing you with irritation or impatience. You react differently, assuming intention. But the Stoics would challenge that. Just as river water is stirred by currents, emotional splashes are stirred by someone else's turbulence. Internalizing their behavior is as unreasonable as blaming yourself for standing near the water. The emotional boundary that changes everything. Once you embrace this Stoic perspective, a profound shift begins. You stop seeing yourself as the cause of their moods. You stop absorbing emotional debris. You stop interpreting reactions as judgments of your worth. You become permeable to understanding, but not to contamination. Not hardened, simply untouched. This is the first step towards psychological freedom, not distancing yourself from people, but distancing yourself from the belief that you are responsible for their emotions. Their storms remain theirs. Your peace remains yours. A scholar's reflection, the beginning of stability. Embracing this principle reshaped all my relationships, personal, familial, and professional. It doesn't make you emotionless, but it makes you steady. You begin to walk through life with a calm awareness that others' behavior reflects their inner environment. And something remarkable happens. When you stop taking on their turmoil, they lose the ability to control you. That insight leads directly into the next lesson, the Stoic shield of emotional neutrality. Part 2. Stay emotionally neutral, the Stoic shield. There's a moment in every strong person's life when they finally understand the truth Marcus Aurelius hinted at again and again. The closer you get to emotional neutrality, the more untouchable you become. And this isn't about being cold. It's not about being indifferent in a dead, lifeless way. It's about being in control, not controlled. Stoicism teaches that the first battle is always inside you, because the world doesn't break you, your reactions do. Other people don't drain your power. Your uncontrolled emotions let them in. So part 2 is your armor, your shield, your internal silent layer of protection that prevents the world from manipulating your state. Let's build that shield step by step. 1. Neutrality is not weakness, it's weaponized calm. Most people misunderstand neutrality. They think a neutral expression or a neutral response means you don't care, you're intimidated, you're avoiding conflict. But the Stoic version of neutrality is the opposite. It is, I will not let you drag me into an emotional arena where I lose clarity. Anyone can yell. Anyone can get defensive. Anyone can react instantly without thinking, but very few can stay calm while someone tries to trigger them. That is why neutrality is rare and why it's powerful. Neutrality tells the world, I choose my energy. You don't get to choose it for me. That is strength. 2. Emotional neutrality is a filter, and it blocks manipulators instantly. Think of manipulators. They don't need your love or trust. They need your reaction. A reaction gives them leverage. It shows your buttons. It reveals what you fear. It exposes what you want approval for. It tells them exactly how to move you. But when you stay emotionally neutral, something magical happens. They can't read you. They can't pull you. They can't move you. Your silence forces them to operate with no data. A Stoic doesn't rush to defend themselves. A Stoic doesn't give away emotional tells. A Stoic doesn't react in real time just because someone demands it. By staying neutral, you stay unpredictable and therefore unmanipulatable. 3. Neutrality protects your thinking, the Stoic shield around your mind. When emotions spike, clarity drops. Neuroscience confirms what the Stoics discovered 2,000 years ago. You cannot think clearly while you are emotionally charged. Anger narrows perspective. Fear exaggerates threats. Ego blinds you. Insecurity turns you into your own saboteur. Neutrality acts like a shield over the mind.
It slows your reactions. It widens your viewpoint. It gives you access to logic. It keeps your dignity intact. You create a buffer, a split second where clarity steps in before chaos takes over. This is the Stoic advantage. The one who stays calm thinks better, and the one who thinks better wins. 4. Neutral doesn't mean passive, it means measured. A lot of people fear neutrality because they think, if I don't react, people will walk all over me. But listen carefully. Neutrality is not the absence of action. It's the absence of uncontrolled action. You can still set boundaries. You can still correct someone. You can still walk away. You can still assert yourself strongly. The difference? You do it from a position of power, not panic. Neutrality means you choose the time, the place, the tone, the outcome. You move only when it benefits you, not when someone provokes you. This is why Stoics always looked composed. They acted from intention, not impulse. 5. Neutral makes you hard to read and hard to control. People who want power over you rely on one thing: predictability. If they can predict when you'll get angry, if they can predict what will offend you, if they can predict what will make you chase them, if they can predict what makes you insecure, then they can control your behavior. But a neutral person breaks their script. You don't get triggered the way they expect. You don't defend yourself the way they want. You don't collapse or over-explain. You don't give the dramatic emotional payoff they're fishing for. Soon, they get frustrated, then confused, then powerless. Neutrality removes their favorite toy, your emotions. 6. The Stoic practice. Pause, observe, respond. Stoic neutrality is not natural, it's trained. Here's the method used by Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Step 1. Pause. Give yourself one breath, 1 second. That's enough to prevent emotional hijack. Step 2. Observe. Ask yourself quietly, what is actually happening here, not what my emotions are telling me. Step 3. Respond, only if required. And when you respond with clarity, not chaos. Imagine how different your life becomes when you master these 3 seconds. Fewer arguments, less regret, better decisions, more respect, more power, more peace. Those 3 seconds are your shield. 7. The most important truth: neutrality is freedom. When you stop reacting, you become free. Free from people who try to provoke you, free from emotional manipulation, free from your own impulses, free from overthinking, free from the storms other people carry inside them. Neutrality is the Stoic superpower because it puts you in control of the one thing the universe gave you absolute command over: your mind. And once you control that, everything external loses its power over you.
Part 3. See people clearly. Decode their intent before they influence you. When you stop reacting emotionally, something shifts. You finally see people, not who you wish they were or who they pretend to be, but who they are beneath tone, behavior, and words. This is a rare Stoic skill. Perception without distortion, seeing people without the fog of fear, insecurity, or bias. And once you see clearly, their influence collapses because manipulation requires illusion, not truth. Let's train this skill.
1. Most people react to their projections, not reality. Your mind doesn't respond to what someone says, it reacts to your interpretation. That's why two people can hear the same sentence and feel completely different emotions. Often, you're not seeing the person at all. You're seeing your fear of rejection, your need for approval, your past, your assumptions, your insecurities, your emotional history. Stoicism reminds us you are disturbed not by events, but by your interpretation of events. Clear perception means stripping away these filters. Once you remove emotional noise, people become readable. Their motives, intentions, and patterns stand out, and you cannot be manipulated by someone you can read. 2. Intent is revealed through patterns, not words. Manipulators speak beautifully. Ego-driven people speak loudly. Emotionally weak people speak reactively. The Stoic looks past the performance and watches the pattern, because patterns don't lie. Small boundary violations become bigger ones. A gossiper today gossips about you tomorrow. Chronic criticism reveals insecurity. Testing reveals control. Confusion reveals an agenda. Guilt-tripping reveals a leverage tactic. Words hide intent. Patterns expose it. That's why the Stoic becomes powerful. They watch what people do. 3. Emotional distance sharpens perception. You cannot see someone clearly if you're emotionally tangled with them. Bias distorts everything. Seeking approval blinds you. Fear of losing them idealizes them. Craving validation hides red flags. Anger exaggerates flaws. Neutrality creates space, and from that space you can finally observe. It lets you ask, are they projecting insecurity? Are they provoking me? Are they asserting control? Are they genuine or strategic? Do actions match words? You stop reacting, you start reading, and your decisions become sharper. 5. Stoics watch the 3 things people can't fake. No matter how well someone performs, they cannot hide these consistently. 1. Their priorities. What people value shows in their time and actions. 2. Their emotional baseline. Some default to anger, blame, insecurity, competition, or calm. Their baseline exposes their worldview. 3. Their behavior under pressure. Stress removes masks. True character appears in fatigue, conflict, and difficulty. These 3 reveal truth far louder than words. 5. The Stoic rule: never assume, observe. Most people explain away behavior. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they'll change. Maybe I misunderstood. Assumptions blind you. Observation frees you. Stoics follow this rule. If the behavior is consistent, the meaning is clear. Repeated disrespect isn't an accident. Repeated lies aren't coincidence. Repeated guilt isn't random. Repeated absence isn't a one-time slip. Patterns repeat because people repeat. No arguing, no fixing, just observe and adjust. 5. Decode motives the Stoic way. Ask the advantage. Instead of taking behavior personally, ask, what advantage does this behavior give them? People act from fear, insecurity, ego, desire, pain, power, or habit. Examples: belittling creates superiority. Guilt-tripping creates control. Lying avoids consequences. Silence avoids vulnerability. Overpraise seeks a benefit. Confusion gives power. Once you see the motive, the behavior stops confusing you. You stop reacting to the surface and respond to the truth. 7. Clear perception makes you untouchable. When you see people clearly, you don't chase, you don't cling, you don't argue or over-explain, you don't fall for traps or mixed signals, you don't absorb projection. You simply think, "Ah, I see." And once you see someone, you cannot be controlled by them. This is the Stoic advantage, the modern superpower.
Part 4. Master your energy. Stop feeding people who drain you. There's a hard truth most people avoid. You lose more energy to the wrong people than to the hardest work. Exhaustion isn't just from long hours. It often comes from emotional leakage, from giving mental and spiritual bandwidth to people who don't deserve it. Stoicism is not only resilience, it's energy management. Your clarity and discipline depend on who gets your attention. This part is about reclaiming that energy, sealing leaks, and becoming someone who cannot be drained or destabilized. 1. Not everyone deserves access to you. Stoics understood what many still don't. People must earn your energy. Most give it away freely to manipulators, emotional vampires, chaotic people, friends who only bring problems, takers who never reciprocate, people who confuse you or disrespect you. Then they wonder why they're exhausted. Your time is a gift. Your attention is currency. Your presence is a privilege. Give it only to those who offer peace, respect, and stability. Selectivity changes everything. 2. People drain you in 4 hidden ways. Energy drain hides inside normal interactions. It shows up as emotional drain, guilt trippers, complainers, constant crises. Mental drain, overthinkers, dramatizers, people who require endless explanation. Energetic drain, heavy negative presences that shift the whole room. Identity drain, people who make you doubt yourself or shrink your confidence. Stoics protect their inner citadel, the mind. When someone drains your energy, they weaken your defenses and make influence easier. 3. The Stoic truth. Drama is a strategy. Not all drama is accidental. Many use chaos intentionally to gain attention, to manipulate sympathy, to avoid responsibility, to control outcomes, to test your loyalty. Chaos is their currency. Stoics know if someone can pull you into their storm, they control the weather. Stop stepping into emotional storms, and people lose power over you. 4. Stop explaining, stop fixing, stop justifying. These 3 behaviors drain your energy fastest. 1. Explaining yourself to people who don't want to understand. They're not confused, they're controlling. 2. Fixing people who benefit from staying broken. Some prefer problems over solutions. 3. Justifying your boundaries to people who disrespect them. The more you explain, the less respect you get. Stoics never waste energy managing others' reactions. You cannot fill a container full of holes. 5. The Stoic filter. Does this cost me peace? One question will reshape your relationships. Does this person cost me peace? Not whether they're fun, apologetic, affectionate, or familiar, but whether they destabilize you. Someone can be entertaining yet draining, charming yet inconsistent, affectionate yet unreliable. If the cost is peace, the price is too high. Stoics choose people who stabilize their inner world. 6. You don't need to cut people off, just stop feeding them. People assume the only solution is to cut others out completely. Often the real solution is simpler. Stop feeding them. Stop feeding their ego, their drama, their need for attention, their emotional cycles, their manipulation. Stop giving instant replies, explanations, or extra chances. Remove the energy supply, and the dynamic either collapses or transforms. Either way, you win.
7. Mastering your energy makes you undrainable. When you manage energy like a Stoic, your identity shifts. You become harder to manipulate, trigger, confuse, or drain. Chaos avoids you. Drama can't pull you in. Controllers lose leverage. Emotional takers can't get their fix. You don't become colder, you become stronger. Your presence steadies, your choices sharpen, your relationships improve, your life simplifies, because your energy becomes sacred and only the deserving get access.
Part 5. Build an unshakable identity. Become immune to external validation. Every strong person eventually realizes a crucial truth. Power comes not from controlling others, but from not needing anything from them. Nothing weakens you more quietly than the craving for validation, approval, praise, reassurance, recognition, affection. Most people don't admit it, yet it shapes their behavior. They avoid criticism, shrink from conflict, shapeshift to be liked, silence truth to stay accepted, perform for applause, tolerate disrespect to feel connected. The Stoic sees the danger clearly. The moment your worth depends on other people's reactions, you hand them control of your life. Part 5 is about reclaiming that control and building an identity that cannot be manipulated by approval or rejection. 1. When people control your emotions, they control your behavior. Manipulators use a simple formula. 1. Give praise, you chase. 2. Withdraw attention, you panic. 3. Show approval, you feel safe. 4. Show disappointment, you fold. If your emotions rise and fall with others' reactions, controlling you becomes easy. Stoicism teaches emotional sovereignty. As Marcus Aurelius said, it's not what they say that disturbs you, it's the importance you attach to it. The problem isn't criticism or praise, it's needing either. When you detach from external validation, your behavior aligns with your values, not with people's approval. 2. Build identity on character, not compliments. Most people build identity on opinions, attention, approval, reputation. This creates a fragile, unstable self-worth. If someone removes praise, your confidence collapses. Stoics build identity differently. Character over compliments, values over validation, principles over popularity. An identity built internally cannot be taken away because it never depended on others. 3. Validation is addictive. Stoics break the cycle. Validation forms a dopamine loop. 1. Praise. 2. Good feeling. 3. Want more. 4. Change yourself to get it. 5. Lose authenticity. You begin performing at work, in relationships, online, even with yourself. Stoics break the dependency. Praise is appreciated but not needed. Insults are noticed but not internalized. The Stoic remains balanced, unmoved by flattery, unshaken by insult. 4. The most dangerous trap, emotional confirmation. People search for confirmation that they're loved, worthy, chosen, secure, and they rely on others to provide that reassurance, reshaping themselves to keep the confirmations coming. That's how your identity gets hijacked. Stoicism reverses the process. You confirm yourself. You validate your own worth. Your stability is self-generated, not external. 5. Build identity through internal standards. Stoics measure themselves with 3 questions. 1. Am I acting according to my values? 2.
Am I living with integrity even when unseen? 3. Am I improving compared to yesterday? When these are your standards, you become immune to external judgment. Noise from the world cannot override your inner compass. 6. Rejection is information, not identity. Rejection triggers validation cravings, but to Stoics, rejection is simply data, a misalignment, wrong environment, wrong opportunity, unhealthy dynamic. Rejection redirects you, but those attached to external worth cling harder, bend more, and tolerate disrespect just to feel accepted. Stoics never chase what doesn't choose them. If I must betray myself to keep it, it's not worth having. 7. When you stop needing validation, your power explodes. Once approval no longer dictates your choices, your voice becomes clearer, boundaries become firm, disrespect becomes intolerable, explanations become unnecessary, relationships become healthier, confidence becomes consistent. You project the energy of someone grounded in themselves, respected, sometimes feared, but always self-directed. You become someone whose identity cannot be negotiated, manipulated, or controlled. This is the Stoic's unshakable core, the part of you no one can touch.
Part 6. Become unmanipulable. Respond with strategy, not emotion. This is the final transformation, the moment when everything from parts 1 to parts 5 integrates into one unshakable skill, the ability to respond with strategy instead of emotion. This is the Stoics' final advantage. This is how they become impossible to control, predict, or destabilize. This is how they navigate conflict, chaos, betrayal, or pressure without losing themselves. It's not that Stoics avoid emotion, it's that they don't let emotion make their decisions. When you learn this, you become a different kind of human, calm in storms, composed under pressure, and unreadable to manipulators. Let's complete the system. 1. Emotional reactions are predictable. Strategic responses are not. Manipulators, narcissists, guilt trippers, and control seekers rely on one thing: predictability. If they know you'll get angry, they can escalate. If they know you'll feel guilty, they can control you. If they know you'll explain yourself, they can drain you. If they know you hate being misunderstood, they can weaponize silence. If they know you'll try to fix everything, they can break everything. Emotional people follow scripts. Strategic people break them. Stoics don't give the expected reaction, and that alone destroys manipulation. 2. Strategy starts with one question: what is the outcome I want? Before the Stoic responds, they pause and ask, what outcome benefits me? Not, what feels good to say right now? What punishes the other person? What makes me look right? What calms my ego? Instead, what serves my long-term purpose? When you respond from outcome instead of emotion, you become highly effective and extremely difficult to manipulate. 3. Stoics use 5 strategic responses that shut down manipulation instantly. These responses don't show weakness, they show mastery. 1. The calm clarification, used to expose hidden agendas. What exactly do you mean by that? Manipulators hate clarity. It ruins their script. 2. The boundary statement. Short, simple, unemotional. This doesn't work for me.
No justification, no debate, no guilt. 3. The delayed response, used to break emotional momentum. I'll think about it and get back to you. This instantly removes the pressure and gives you full control. 4. The neutral mirror. Repeat their behavior back to them without emotion. You raised your voice. You canceled last minute. You changed the agreement. Stated calmly, it destabilizes manipulation without hostility. 5. The exit, the strongest tool of all. Walk away, not dramatically, not angrily, simply with clarity. A manipulator loses all power when they can't keep you engaged. 4. Strategy requires ego control, the Stoics' superpower. Nothing makes you easier to manipulate than ego. I need to prove them wrong. I can't let them think they won. I need them to understand my side. I need them to see my value. I need to clear my name. This is the exact leverage manipulative people use. Stoics let go of ego because they understand you don't win by proving your worth. You win by preserving your energy and dignity. Manipulators want you emotional. Stoics stay composed, and in that composure, you gain the upper hand every time. 5. Strategic people are untriggerable. Triggers are weaknesses, and manipulators search for them. The Stoic becomes untriggerable by mastering detachment, not taking behavior personally. Neutrality, no emotional overreaction. Self-validation, not needing approval. Clarity, seeing motives before reacting. Energy discipline, refusing to fuel drama. You can't be controlled if guilt doesn't sway you, if silence doesn't scare you, if rejection doesn't destabilize you, if pressure doesn't rush you, if anger doesn't provoke you, if praise doesn't seduce you. This is the apex of Stoic power. 6. When you stop reacting, manipulative behavior exposes itself. Watch what happens when you respond strategically. They get irritated your buttons don't work. They escalate because their methods fail. They accuse you of being cold or arrogant. They shift from charm to pressure. They reveal their entitlement. They lose interest once control disappears. Your calm becomes the mirror that shows their true nature. And once you see their nature, you stop giving them access. This is how Stoics maintain peace without needing conflict. 7. Strategic response equals power and peace. When you master the ability to respond with intention, you unlock a rare equilibrium. You become powerful without being aggressive. You become peaceful without being passive. Your presence becomes steady. Your decisions become calculated. Your relationships become healthier. Your boundaries become respected. Your life becomes drama-free. People won't know how to manipulate you, how to destabilize you, or how to get emotional reactions from you. You become unreadable, untriggerable, unmoved, untouchable. Not because you're cold, but because you're in control. That is the Stoic ideal. Not emotionless, but self-governed. Not reactive, but strategic. Not fragile, but sovereign. You've completed the full transformation.
Conclusion. The fully integrated Stoic, a life no one can hijack. We've covered 6 core transformations, 6 disciplines that turn a reactive person into a grounded, sovereign one. But Stoicism becomes powerful not through mastering one part, but by integrating all of them. The final image is simple:
a person who moves through the world unmanipulated, clear-minded, and driven by inner strength rather than external chaos. 1. You see people clearly, so you stop personalizing their behavior. You now read patterns instead of words, motives instead of performances, intentions instead of tone. You recognize that people act from wounds, fears, and habits, not because of you. This ends unnecessary suffering. Your relationships sharpen, expectations become realistic, boundaries cleaner. You stop reacting to illusions and respond to reality. 2. You protect your peace so no one can drain your energy. You've removed the leaks. No over-explaining, no fixing unwilling people, no absorbing chaos, no carrying emotional burdens, no performing for approval, no engaging manipulators. Your energy is no longer free for others to take. Access to you no longer means access to your peace. You become stable, powerful, and hard to destabilize. 3. You validate yourself, so no one controls your emotions. You don't rely on praise, reassurance, or permission. Your identity is internally anchored. Rejection loses its sting, criticism its power, approval its pull. Your worth is unplugged from external sources. This creates rare psychological independence. 4. You respond strategically so no one can predict or manipulate you. Your instinct is no longer to defend, prove, or react. You pause and ask, what outcome benefits me? This separates the reactive from the powerful. You create space before responding, choose outcomes over emotions, disrupt manipulative patterns, and stay in control even in chaos. 5. You hold your ground without becoming harsh. Stoicism doesn't make you cold, it makes you controlled, not distant, discerning, not emotionless, unshakable. You stand firm without rigidity, warm without weakness, kind without gullibility, confident without arrogance. This rare balance is felt instantly. 6. You become trusted, respected, and unmoved by chaos. In an impulsive world, grounded people become magnetic. In a manipulative world, the self-governed become untouchable. In a noisy world, the calm become leaders. Your presence steadies, your decisions sharpen, your communication cleans up. Boundaries become natural, relationships strengthen, your life and mind simplify. This is Stoicism lived, not studied. The final identity, someone others cannot control or break. You're intentional, not reactive, self-governed, not hijacked, self-confirmed, not validation-seeking, protected, not drained, clear-seeing, not naive, immune to guilt, pressure, silence, and praise. You become the person who can't be provoked into foolishness, who can't be emotionally played, who avoids drama, who stays balanced, who cannot be controlled. You become sovereign. This is the Stoic victory, not ruling others, but ruling yourself. And once you fully own yourself, no one else ever will.